But anyway, before all of that, from the fabulous Dame Edna Everage to the irreverent Les Patterson, Mr. Barry Humphries, comic genius that he is, has played some of television's most colourful characters and some of our favourites, it has to be said.
Oh, and he is, well, one of our favourite guests, really.
I have to say, and if you're wondering why he would be our favourite guest, take a look at this.
I was taken to a nursing home in Eastbourne. I always liked Eastbourne because everyone is so old. You feel young, you know.
Yes. It's often said you should never meet your heroes, but I've been absolutely honoured, honoured and delighted to meet you.
You are lovely, and I'm going to buy you a tie.
Yes.
You should have a tie. This open neck looks just undressed.
Okay.
You're in good health, you don't feel like retiring?
Yes, I've had a checkup. I've had the gynecologist had gone over me.
Yes, it's all.
And gave me the thumbs up, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that was one of my favourites.
And he's got a tie on this morning as he joins us from his home in North London. You're having difficulty with that tie, though, Barry. Good morning.
I have, but you see, I've got the no makeup look. You're lucky. See, you have, and Eammon, I always remember, you're in makeup for an hour and a half every morning.
Yeah, and
People wouldn't.
I've got to do it myself now. Look, I've got to bring this little thing on set and make sure that I look gorgeous. So that's got to do it yourself. I've got no makeup artists anymore.
So, viewers, in case you didn't know, that's called product placement. You're probably getting a percentage of that.
Let me ask you, Barry, what are you going to do about your hair? It's obviously got out of control.
Yes, it has a bit, but look, I've only just woken up. And if I look a bit bulky, Ruth, it's because I'm wearing this suit over my pyjamas.
Well, I think you look very dapper, Barry.
Keeping funny hours. You know, very strange period of time this is.
It is. And how are you? And we saw it earlier before we come on air, your lovely wife, Lizzie, plumping up the cushions and making sure everything looked nice. How are the two of you in lockdown? How are the family as well?
You know, we've had about one minor row. That's not bad, you know, considering that we never had them before, you know. But the tension, there are my sons there, and there's Lizzie, my wife. That's me wearing my usual, what I wear every day, actually. But I dream a lot. I've been having nightmares. I dream, it's a dream I have almost every night. I'm in a city, could be London or San Francisco, somewhere like that, but I'm in a very slummy part of it. I'm in a dreadful part of the city, and suddenly someone says, "You're doing a show tonight. Why aren't you at the theatre?" So I think, my God, I've got a show. I try to get a taxi. Taxis refuse to take me. I look down and I'm wearing rags. Filthy rags. Then I finally I get to the theatre and it's being demolished. So this is a nightly dream of mine.
Yeah, anxiety. It's an anxiety dream.
I'm a frustrated actor. It means I'm missing my job. So every night on Thursday, you know, the magical time of 8, when we lean out of our windows and applaud, quite rightly, the health service and everyone connected with it and the world in general, I hear that applause and I pretend it's for me.
There you go. There's some from us, Barry.
A standing ovation. That's what I'd like. But they'd fall out of their windows, wouldn't they?
Could I ask how Dame Edna is coping in lockdown? How is she?
She's got a yacht.
Well, I don't think it's a big secret, but she's in lockdown. She's in lockdown with her new boyfriend, Tommy Markle. That's Thomas Markle. That's little Megan's father. And they're in Texas, and although they're very close, acts of immodesty not taken place, I'm pleased. Because Edna has taken the precaution of sewing up the aperture in his pajamas. And I think she recommends that to most women, I think.
Ruth always has a look at the aperture, don't you? You always make sure everything's in order. You check.
Oh, Barry, look,
Glad here
I've
she's
got to do
happy.
my own makeup and now you're ruining it. It's taken me ages.
But
Well, Eammon,
yes.
you've got a bit of lippy on your teeth.
Sorry. And my friend, Dame Edna. Oh, what a costume! What a wardrobe that woman must have. And we can see some of her costumes, or at least one of them, on the Victoria and Albert's new online programme for children.
Really? I think Les Patterson is not a children's performer. As a matter of fact, poor old Les, as you know, he expectorates a lot. He's a very, when he's talking to you, you say to him, look, Les, I want the news, not the weather. But
He will be socially distant.
He'd be very socially distant now. He'd have to be.
Yes, he's had a vasectomy on his saliva duct. So, it used to be a time when he could reach the 5th row of the theatre. Nowhere is safe. So he's practicing social distancing, which is difficult for him, He's always practiced it with his wife, but with other people, it's not so easy for Les.
Barry, we saw Dame Edna on telly recently with her own show from her yacht. Very funny, very, very good. What about someone like Sir Les? Could you imagine him getting a prime-time television slot?
Yes. I think the time is ripe for Les. I think that he would probably be prosecuted after the first 10 minutes. But after that, I think, between you and me, Ruth,
Yes.
the world needs Les Patterson.
Why?
He's the child in that fairy tale who points at the naked emperor and says he's not wearing any clothes. Les is the conscience, is sanity.
But he's not very politically correct, is he? Do you think people would find him offensive?
In this day and age.
In this day and age, yeah.
That's the highest compliment anyone could pay me. I was born, but I must be very careful what I say. I was born to give offence, that's all. But mild offence.
Yes.
And you ask me, since you haven't asked me this, I'm going to answer a question of my own. What keeps me going?
What keeps you going?
In spite of the picture you see of me, and I'm approaching 50. From the wrong direction, Eammon, admittedly. From the wrong direction. But what keeps me going, Ruth, and I'll tell you what it is. How long do I have to wait for that knighthood? How? When?
But what have you got? What have you got so far? How far up the order are you?
Well, I'm quite up the ladder. The sovereign or the government or whatever it is has been generous.
What, CBE?
Yes, but
Yeah.
that last rung, what do I have to do? Boris, tell me.
Brush up on the acting, because if you're an actor and you just get to over 50, you're immediately made a dame or a sir. I mean, actors, it happens easily to them.
And Ruth, you should have a damehood.
Do you think?
You have Dame Ruth.
Dame Ruth for putting up with Eammon.
Between you and look at some of the other people who've made it. We don't think they deserve it, do they? A lot of them.
Barry, we're going to have to go now. As much as I'd like to talk to you all day.
And we would.
And we would. We're glad to see that you're well, and Lizzie and the children. I know you must be missing your grandchildren.
And if you lose your mobile phone or something like that, or a hearing aid, or a wooden leg, you know it's at home, don't you?
You do. You do. You haven't lost it on the bus.
That's a very good point.
That's a very, very good
and
point.
something positive to leave you on.
And well, if lockdown ever finishes, I would love one of my first outings to be round at his house, having a social with him, being there.
Or bring you into our studio again. We miss you. We miss seeing you.
As soon as it's over, you know. As soon as your show's over, I mean.
Yes.
I could find something very appropriate for your slot, Ruth.
Right. Thank you, Barry.
We've got to close your aperture just at that point.
And say goodbye. Love you.
Barry Humphries, yeah, you're a tonic. You're like medicine, my friend. You're like medicine. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Stay safe,
Thank you very
Barry.
much indeed. Barry Humphries. Thank you.
Oh, my
Thank you.
goodness, that man.
He is.
gonna get me into
He is
trouble
like
one day.
medicine. But you like his sense of humour.
I do like your sense of humour.
Yes.
It's a little close to the edge sometimes.
Aperture got you going, didn't it?
Well, but you know, there's that thing about men in their pyjamas wandering about. You have to be careful about those things. You do, because there's a gap when you sit down.
Who would have thought aperture was a naughty word? But there you go. He is a true genius. He's phenomenal. He is Barry Humphries. After the break.